Welcome back. Welcome back. What's up, everybody? So there's some breaking news that's been happening this morning. Okay, I've seen multiple reports. Now I just see a live feed, helicopter feed. Let me pull up a news clip so we can get a little update information. The January 6th pipe bomb suspect has been caught. What? They're saying it's been caught. Big news, man. Let me play a clip here in the corner. I wonder if this is the suspect's house.
This is a big deal, Bill and Dana.
Big deal,
it happened
baby.
January 5th, 2021. A mysterious person covered from head to toe placed pipe bombs outside both the Democratic National Committee and Republican National Committee here in our nation's capital. We don't know the suspect's name or anything about this person other than the fact this is a male that was living in Northern Virginia, arrested at some point within the last 90 minutes, now in federal custody. I'm told we'll know more as the day moves on, and as soon as we have the information, of course, we will break in with that. But just this past October, a couple of months ago, the FBI put out this enhanced video and pictures of the masked suspect planting pipe bombs near a bench outside the DNC in Washington on January 5th, 2021, the night before the attack on the U.S. Capitol. The suspect then placed the same type of bomb outside the RNC minutes later. The suspect, as I said, wore a face mask, hooded sweatshirt, glasses, gloves. But using FBI technology, agents told the public the suspect they believe is around 5'7". We'll see, Bill, if that rings true once we get an identity later today. Agents say the two bombs were placed between 7:30 and 8:30 at night. The bombs did not detonate, but this is important. They were viable. They could have hurt people. They could have killed people. Those bombs were discovered the next day. Over the past 4 years, agents visited 1,200 homes and businesses, conducted more than 1,000 interviews, reviewed approximately 39,000 video files, went through 600 tips. It's notable the reward, Bill and Dana, was $500,000, $500,000.
Wow. I'm assuming this is the suspect's house that we're over right now, that the chopper is. So they haven't announced the name yet. January 6th bomber caught, sorry. Viable bombs. All these years later, finally caught. One second, I'm just making an actual nicer thumbnail, and then we're gonna kind of look more into the story. The FBI, man, maybe Kash Patel is doing good. He's faced a lot of criticism. Kash Patel faced a lot of criticism, but he brought that mama from India that killed that baby over here in the U.S. in Texas and ran off with the husband. They caught the mama in India and brought her ass back. Child murder. Now we got the bomb suspect caught. Pipe bomb. I wonder what he looks like. Proud Boys? Looks like a nice home. Is that his house right there? That's a beautiful home. Living the life of luxury. Or maybe that's his parents' home. Maybe he lives with mom and dad. Spoiled brat. Living with mommy and daddy. Oh, look at the car, too. Look at the cars being investigated. They got forensics out there. Amazing. All right, let's see what else we can pull up with this. Pipe bomb suspect arrested. Oh. Oh, man. Let's see what they said over here. What does CNN have to say? Probably upset.
This is CNN breaking news.
All right, we do have breaking news. CNN has learned that an arrest has been made in the Washington, D.C. January 6th pipe bomb investigation. You will remember that on the morning of the riots around the Capitol, there were also pipe bombs that were found at both the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee headquarters. CNN has now learned that an arrest has been made. Let's get right to CNN's Evan Perez for the latest on this. Evan, what are you learning?
Yeah, John, this has been a long-running investigation, a 5-year investigation that the FBI has focused dozens of agents. They've looked at thousands of tips that have come in, video, hundreds of pieces of video. And this morning, the FBI has made an arrest, we're told. We expect to see some charges later today. But this is obviously something that has eluded the FBI despite all of their efforts. Part of the problem has been that you see some of the grainy video. I think we have some of that that the FBI has released from the placement of that bomb. These bombs were placed outside of the DNC headquarters, outside of the RNC headquarters. These were just a couple blocks from the U.S. Capitol. And when they were discovered, what happened was the police from the Capitol complex rushed over there, and that happened to be just at about the time that some of the crowds of Donald Trump supporters who were outside the Capitol began breaking through some of the cordons to break into that building and attack the Capitol on January 6th. So obviously it's been the source of a lot of conspiracies over the years.
Yeah, but this person planted bombs outside of the DNC and the RNC.
But finally, the FBI believes that they have the person who planted.
And so this was the night before the attack is when it was planted. It was interesting, though. That's got to be a pretty interesting person to get into custody. The night before the January 6th Capitol riot.
These bombs. Now, the bombs were viable according to the FBI, and if they had gone off, they could have harmed someone, and that included Kamala Harris, who was then the vice president, and she was incoming vice president. And the concern, obviously, was that she passed about 20 feet away from where one of these bombs was planted near the DNC headquarters. The FBI has tried everything from releasing different pieces of video from the alleys and some of the streets scenes there. You'll see the bomber walking along the streets. He was wearing some very distinctive black and gray Nike Air Max shoes. The FBI even found that there was about 25,000 of those shoes that were sold around the time of the placement of those bombs, and they still could not find this person. So we'll expect to hear more from the Justice Department later today, possibly some charges against this person, which will explain a little bit about how they went about finally solving this case. And obviously something that the FBI has been very focused. Even the new incoming leadership of Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, they brought in a new team, set of fresh eyes to look at the evidence, and it appears that has brought forward some new.
Yeah, man, I don't know, man. Kash Patel gets a lot of criticism, but look at what's happening, man. Look what's happening.
Clues that help them solve this case today, John.
Evan, I have to ask, because there have been a lot of conspiracy theories one way or another about this investigation. Do you have any information about the identity and
the deep state,
possibly the implications of who this person is at this time?
Well, if it is who we believe it is, it should at least put to bed some of this conspiracy. At least theoretically, it should calm some of those conspiracies. If you remember, certainly on the right wing, in right wing social media, there's been a lot of speculation that this perhaps was an inside job. It's a theory that even Dan Bongino, the now Deputy Director of the FBI, he even mentioned some of this on his podcast, saying that it was possible the FBI knew who this bomber was, but wasn't making an arrest because this person was an insider. Again, no indication that that is the case from what we know so far. We don't have an identification of that person yet from the FBI, from the Justice Department. But from everything we know, it seems to indicate that this is not somebody who is an insider. Again, we're waiting to hear more from prosecutors, from the FBI in the coming hours.
Listen, this lady being caught is amazing. And that was with Kash Patel. Some of you guys might not know the story, but I was covering this story for a while in Texas. This lady, Cindy Rodriguez Singh, allegedly killed her 6-year-old son on March 20th. And the police did a really good job, though. They tried, the Everman Police Department. But this lady fled to another country, to India. And they caught her ass and brought her back. I didn't think we were ever going to see that lady again back in the U.S.
Evan Perez, terrific reporting. Obviously, we're standing by for more information. You are working your sources. I am sure we will hear from you soon. In the meantime, I'm joined by CNN legal analyst Elliot Williams. What charges? What kind of charges are we talking about here?
Right. It's the explosives, John. It would probably be for, well, what's on the table? The creation of an explosive device, the manufacture of an explosive device, perhaps conspiracy to construct some such thing. And also the potential destruction of property. Now, all of these would be attempts because of the fact that the bomb did not go off. But the individual could be charged for attempted destruction of property. Now, a lot of this will depend on what the FBI actually has. What do you know? Did he send emails? Did he send texts to sort of indicate what his plans were? But we'll see.
Let me ask kind of an esoteric question here. This happened January 6th. Yes. What if this person was at the riots on Capitol Hill on January 6th? For which everyone has now been pardoned?
That's one of the many constitutional questions we don't know the answer to. Would this be considered a January 6th related crime of the sort of destruction of property at the Capitol or something totally different? Now, again, that becomes a political question as much as a legal one. Does the president really wish to say that someone who wanted to bomb both the RNC or potentially bomb both the RNC and the DNC ought to be pardoned for that offense? That's an open question.
I will say
I don't think that's going to be the case. And I think it is separate from what happened that day. Even if he did go that day, I think they're trying to throw it out there. Maybe he's gonna pardon the bomber, the attempted bombing. I highly doubt it. That is wild, man. That's not what I wanted. Pipe bomb suspect arrested. I'm thinking maybe later we'll get some type of press conference or something with some more official details.
The person suspected of planting pipe bombs outside the RNC and DNC's headquarters in Washington back in 2021. That the night before the Capitol riots, January 6. David Spunt joins us live from D.C. with the latest. David.
Well, Brian, this is a big one. This is almost 5 years in the making. You remember this happened on January 5th, 2021, the night before the Capitol was under attack on January 6, 2021. A person who was completely covered in clothes, in a sweatshirt, a hoodie, mask, gloves, you name it, placed pipe bombs outside both the DNC, Democratic National Committee headquarters, and the RNC, Republican National Committee headquarters. We don't know the suspect's name or anything else about the person at this time. We're told that will likely change as the day moves on, but we can say this was a male that was living in the Northern Virginia area outside of Washington, D.C., and this arrest was made by the FBI and other federal authorities here within the last hour or 90 minutes or so.
So this guy lives in a cul-de-sac, and they're searching this car. I wonder if I guess that's maybe the suspect's car. And I'm really wondering if he lived at home with his parents, with mom and dad. And, you know, went and planted these bombs and went back home to mommy and daddy. You know, or is that his own house? Is he some type of business owner, CEO? Mommy and daddy. You know, some of these people lose their minds on their moms and dads. I mentioned it the other day. You got to be really careful with these kids. Once they start getting older, man, lock your door at night. You might want to put a security camera in your room because you don't know what's going on in these kids' minds. Once they start growing up, getting a little bit older, start going to, like, I don't know, middle school, high school and shit. Mommy didn't let me get my tablet. I can't play Roblox. You know, or take my cell phone away. Or even 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Stories of... You know, hey, Billy, it's time to go get a job. You've been doing nothing with yourself, rotting in this house. Go get a job, Billy. Go and kill you for some shit like that. Can't say nothing to these kids anymore. The new generation shit. What's that story? Let me just scroll and find it. I mean, maybe I'm giving this guy too much credit, but... Where's it at over here? That step kid, here it is, that killed his mom and dad. California couple. California couple. These kids will kill you. I'm telling you. Looks like dad owns a bail bond business and was raided this morning. Brian Cole bail bonds. Really? Julianne, that'd be interesting. I think mom and dad have the money. This is just a separate story, but just a cautionary tale with these wild kids. You never know, man. California couple gunned down inside of garage of 1.3 million home were killed by son. Turned the gun on himself. Wow. Eric Cordes, 63, and Vicky Cordes, 66, died from multiple gunshot wounds in their ritzy Simi Valley home on Sunday. A corpse found in a burned-out car in Chino, some 65 miles away, was identified as the doctor's 37-year-old son, Keith Cordes. Man. The son lived in Kentucky, and cops have yet to reveal a positive motive. So he came all the way from Kentucky to kill his parents. The body was so burned that detectives initially couldn't identify him, but license plate recognition allowed the cameras to track Keith's black Honda Civic. Trusted kids, man.
Just this past October, the FBI put out enhanced video of this masked suspect planting these pipe bombs on this bench outside the RNC and then the DNC. Now, this was, again, the night before the Capitol attack. Now, according to authorities, the suspect, they believe, was 5'7", using some technology where they could measure based on the video. The person wore a hooded sweatshirt, glasses, and gloves. We'll see if that rings true once we get an identity. Agents say that these bombs, Brian, were placed between 7:30 and 8:30 at night. It's important to note the bombs did not detonate, but they were viable and discovered the next day. Over the past almost 5 years, agents visited 1,200 homes, businesses, conducted more than 1,000 interviews, reviewed approximately 39,000.
Yeah, they're saying supposedly the guy's name is Brian Cole. Brian Cole.
In video files, going through 600 tips or so, and there was a reward, everyone, for $500,000 leading to this arrest. Of course, that'll be a question we're expecting to hear from authorities later today involved in this investigation to see if someone did indeed tip off authorities and may be eligible for that $500,000 reward. So a lot of questions. We want to know the name. We want to know.
Yeah, according to X, Twitter. Yeah, they're saying Brian Cole. Brian Cole of Virginia has been arrested. Heavy police presence with barricades set up this morning at Brian Cole bail bonds. They're saying it's Brian Cole. Brian Cole, the suspect arrested in connection with the J6 pipe bomber investigation, lists a very particular and peculiar set of skills on LinkedIn profile. skills, skip tracing, fraud, private investigation, security management, physical security, surveillance, security operations, surety bonds, criminal law, background checks, internal investigations, enforcement, investigation, executive protection, workers' compensation, criminal investigations, protection, assets protection, firearms, expert witness, bonds, CCTV, corporate security, criminal justice, evidence, interrogation, investigative reporting, police, security audits, access control, forensic analysis, homeland security, liability, litigation support, loss prevention, notary public, personal protection, public safety, risk assessment, risk management, workplace violence, courts, emergency management, security training, tactics, security, and law enforcement. I think he just had a whole jambalaya of shit just listed on there as if trying to hit all the SEO on his LinkedIn, I guess. Damn. Brian. Now the next question I want to know, let's see. They're saying Brian Cole, 33.
This is a big deal, Bill and Dana. It happened January 5th, 2021.
Brian Cole, Fairfax, Virginia. Oh, shit. Brian.
Much more about this, but this is something that's been plaguing Washington, D.C. and many across the country for almost 5 years now, guys.
I'm looking at FBI.gov, and just one other fact about this individual. He was wearing Nike Air Max Speed Turf shoes. They're black and gray with yellow Nike logos. There are fewer than 25,000 pairs of these shoes that were sold over a 3-year period. So it's these little details that can make the breakthrough in a case. Unclear if that was the detail, but those are the kinds of things these investigators were looking at.
That's exactly right. And the FBI did put some video. It was a computer image of a 360-degree view of those Nikes on their website. And we've done countless stories over the last almost 5 years showing those. And that, yes, that was a rare shoe. But it was difficult for authorities, and we're obviously going to learn a lot more. And I think there was some frustration. This is something that spanned the FBI under Christopher Wray, now Kash Patel. When Director Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino came on board earlier this year, they talked about this case openly and said that they wanted to find out who this person was. Bongino, in fact, said when he was a private citizen on his podcast before he came into the FBI, he believed that it was an inside job. We want to see who this person is. We want to know what the connections are. We just know this was a male that was living in Northern Virginia, taken into custody in the last hour or so, and we're going to be getting some of those updates from authorities a little bit later today, and we suspect we'll hear from Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, maybe the Deputy FBI Director Bongino, and others. Kaylee.
So, David, Brian and I had a source a few months back that told us that they were closing this investigation. Shortly after that, they released the imaging. There's really not much in the imaging that they released. Do you have any idea from your sources what turned this investigation to an arrest?
We want to know the answer to that. We don't know specifically, but you're right. We've heard the same thing with our sources, Lawrence, that they have been slowly closing in over time on somebody. The question is, could it have been the $500,000 reward money? We know that via sources that this person had been watched for several days, which is typical from the FBI or other agents, marshals, to watch someone before they go in and make an arrest. And they made their arrest, and it's so important.
Let me pause for a second. So, yeah, we do have this article that talks about the NY Post, the suspect. Let's read a little bit about that. And if you guys could help me out with the like button, please, because I had no notifications for this live stream. If you could help me out with the like button, I'd appreciate that. Brian Cole of Virginia, identified as the D.C. pipe bomb suspect, sources say. Here's some video of this weirdo lurking. But yeah. Oh, he's sitting on the bench, okay. Sneakerhead. Sneakerhead sleuths. True. The suspect arrested for planning pipe bombs outside of the Republican and Democratic National Committees ahead of the January 6 riots has been identified as Brian Cole of Virginia. Cole was busted by the FBI Thursday morning to the attempted bombing just shy of the 5th anniversary. Wow. Authorities say he was the man caught on camera sulking around the capital city the night before the former Vice President Joe Biden's election victory was to be certified. Well, how now, brown cow? How now, brown cow, did they catch this guy? And they couldn't do it all these years. I guess they're saying they've been investigating all this time. Or was it a cover-up? Were they really covering this up? I don't know.
That these members of law enforcement can do what they need to do, and these arrests don't get botched at all in any way. So this was very close hold, as we call it here in Washington, before this happened today. But now this person is in custody. But we'll find out more about the circumstances.
Do we know when the presser is?
We don't have an exact time yet. We're told we're likely going to hear this afternoon from these principals.
Yeah. Wow. Very big news.
Yeah. Thanks so much, David.
Thanks,
for
David.
hopping on.
People have
Thank
been
you,
asking
guys.
questions about this for a long time, and we're told they were close. The Trump administration comes in, it takes 10 months, and they find the guy.
Well, it was also rumored to be a conspiracy as well. You know, there's been so much stuff online about inside job, who was a part of this. Hopefully, we're going to get some closure now that we got somebody in custody.
Yeah, and little by little, we talk about January 6th again. It always brings us back to that time. There's still some questions that had to be answered. So we'll continue to follow that breaking news story, but it is notable that this FBI solves a lot of cases.
Absolutely.
All the criticism.
They hunt people down, and then they tell you what they're doing.
Stay tuned for that press conference.
Yeah. And Kash Patel gets so much criticism, and they were saying they're upset too because they're like, oh, he's posting on Twitter what's happening, what's going on. But you could argue, some people could argue saying that he is being transparent, I guess, communicating more than others have in the past. Let's see what else we got on this. I'm gonna try to look him up too. I want to see if I can I want to know that address that they were searching at. I want to know that address.
The FBI has arrested a...
Oh, big news. So maybe a press conference this afternoon?
We're going to begin this hour with breaking news. Just into us now, the FBI has arrested a suspect accused of planting the pipe bombs that had been left outside the RNC and DNC headquarters the night before the January 6th Capitol riot. For the latest, let's bring in MS Now Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Delaney. And Ken, this case has been cold for a long time, a source of real embarrassment that no arrests had been made. But here we are, 5 years later. What more can you tell us?
Good morning, Jonathan. That's right. The FBI fanned out this morning and made this arrest at the suspect's home, as we understand it. And the suspect is a male. We don't have a name yet, but there is a sealed complaint charging this suspect with placing those two bombs in the hours before the January 6th riots. But authorities are telling us they don't understand or have a motive. They do, though, have some information connecting this suspect to anarchist writings. So it's not clear at all that it was connected to the January 6th attacks after all the speculation.
Well, he Antifa? So I just want to get a picture of the house here, thumbnail purposes. Was that what they're saying, Antifa?
In the hours before the January 6th riots, but authorities are telling us they don't understand or have a motive. They do, though, have some information connecting this suspect to anarchist writings. So it's not clear at all that it was connected to the January 6th attacks after all the speculation that perhaps it was intended as a diversion. Remember, these were real devices, 2 pipe bombs placed outside the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters in downtown Washington, D.C. They could have gone off, but luckily they did not. And as you said, this was a massive investigation, one of the biggest in the FBI's history. They sifted through thousands and thousands of pages of records. They tried to compare credit card records for purchases of items that were used to make the bomb with cell phone records of people who were around the site that night. Remember, they had video, but it didn't show a clear facial image. They had a height of the suspect, 5'7" or 5'8". They had a unique shoe, a Nike shoe that was not sold widely that they tried to use to identify the subject. They even issued a $500,000 reward for information leading to arrest, and they had almost no leads. But what's interesting here is that we're told by 2 sources close to the case that the information used to put together the case against the suspect was sitting in FBI files and was gathered as perhaps in 2021 or 2022. So could have been used to make an arrest a while ago, and they
No, don't say it so. Sitting in the FBI office? No, it can't be, man. It can't be.
So identify the subject. They even issued a $500,000 reward for information leading to arrest, and they had almost no leads. But what's interesting here is that we're told by 2 sources close to the case that the information used to put together the case against the suspect was sitting in FBI files and was gathered as perhaps in 2021 or 2022. So could have been used to make an arrest a while ago, and they re-examined this case. And that's going to be a partial vindication for Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino, who has been exhorting the FBI to take another look at the evidence in this case. What it doesn't do, though, is stand up the bizarre theories that Bongino was expounding as a podcaster when he was trying to suggest that this was an inside job and that the FBI was covering up what it knew. There's no...
This shit's been sitting in the office for years. Yeah, it's just weird. What the... It's kind of strange. What's going on, man? They better put him on a watch, this guy, the suspect. No suicide watch. Cameras 24/7 like Diddy. I don't want to hear no Epstein shit with this one. Keep an eye on that man. I really want to know if he was living at mommy and daddy's house, though. That'll tell me everything I need to know. Case closed. Crazy times, man. The end of times. So yeah, I think the Kash Patel detractors are gonna have to apologize. They're gonna have to issue public apology, public statements, and apologize to Patel. Okay, let's see what else we got.
Evidence of that. As you know, this case has been the subject of right-wing conspiracy theories, and just recently there was a story that tried to suggest that there was a particular woman was the suspect based on gay.
That's the whole thing. I haven't followed the story in all this time. But I saw someone in the chat mention that there was supposedly somebody had mentioned a woman and blah, blah, blah.
Suggests that there was a particular woman was the suspect based on gait analysis. That's not the case. She's not the suspect, and her lawyer is saying she's completely innocent and has nothing to do with this. But again, this arrest appears to solve a 5-year mystery and ends one of the biggest investigations, if these allegations are proven, in recent FBI history, guys.
Wow. MS Now Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Delanian, thank you very much for that reporting. So
Suspects home.
Major breaking news. Breaking just this morning, the FBI has made an arrest in the long-running investigation into the pipe bombs discovered in Washington on the eve of the January 6th Capitol riot.
It's first going on in the backyard area, too. It's like the backyard, outside area. Somebody has, what is this over here? Somebody built something there? What's going on in the deep backyards of Virginia, hill country?
Time authorities say they've identified a suspect in a case that's remained a mystery for nearly 5 years. Our Jacqueline Quinn has been tracking this breaking news with our team in the newsroom, and she's here now with the details. Jackie.
Yeah, so this is a major development. Law enforcement sources tell the Associated Press and CNN an arrest was made this morning tied to this case. And in the last 30 minutes, we've learned sources have also told CBS, or just a few minutes ago, I should say, that the suspect is from Virginia. Now, the investigation centers on 2 pipe bombs discovered on the night of January 5th, 2021, one outside of the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and another near the Republican National Committee in Washington. The devices were found and rendered safe before they were detonated. No one was injured, but the FBI has said that both of them were capable of causing deadly harm. For years, investigators searched for the person seen on security video placing the bombs, releasing footage, physical descriptions, and offering rewards for information. Thousands of tips were reviewed, but the suspect's identity, motive, and connection to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol remained unclear. The next day, supporters of President Donald Trump stormed the Capitol. That was on January 6th as Congress moved to certify the 2020 election victory over Joe Biden. Now, there was also a lot of criticism from some lawmakers over how the bombs went unnoticed for 17 hours. Earlier this year, though, newly appointed FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said the Bureau had intensified efforts, adding new investigators, increasing resources, and boosting the rewards for tips. So we expect more information to come out later today, potentially a press conference announcement on this breaking development. Again, sources saying an arrest made in that notorious D.C. pipe bomb case. The suspect, according to CBS News, is from Virginia. Stay tuned. Stay with us for more updates. Now back to you guys.
Wow, big breaking news, Jackie. Thanks. We'll continue to follow this all day, of course.
Breaking, guys. Just update this here. See what the chat is saying. Chat. Somebody's up there. Thanks, me still. What else is going to happen today? Who knows? It's been quiet lately. Anything's possible. With bad traffic at the guy's place of business. Apparently he had a Bales bomb business in Fairfax. Cool. Please, thank you. Yeah, not a bad morning. Pretty good so far. Pretty good. No notification gang. Squad. Let's see if there's anything else about this guy. Right. Cool.
Caesar Squad has confirmed the address. News crews starting to show up. Caesar Squad has confirmed the address. News crews starting to show up.
I wonder if anybody's live out there in person. I know we got the helicopter feed. As far as Brian Cole, I'm seeing different pictures. I don't want to put the wrong thing out there, but as far as picture. But they're saying he has a dad. His dad is Brian Cole Sr., they're saying, so. I don't know. So we'll see. Wait a little more. Let me keep looking into it. Seeing a lot of different pictures, so I try to be careful, you know. Oh, okay, they got the address here. Let's see. Supposedly this is the address. Let me look this up. One day I didn't want... Oh, it's all over Twitter. Oh, shit, okay. One day I didn't wanna be... Virginia. This looks like it. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. This picture's from 2023. They're sending us the address. It looks a little different to me. Let me see. I'll show you guys. Oh, I guess that's it right there. Okay. There's the house right here, they're saying. We're in a cul-de-sac. And that looks like the car that's being searched right now. Welcome to the cul-de-sac. Let me try to do a little research here. Somebody once told me the world. I said, yep, what a concept. Zip code. Where I gotta put the zip code in? Mini Manor. Oh yeah. I mean, but it says this guy's 28 though. Online they're saying he's 33. Brian Cole. There's two Brian Coles there. I don't know. It's weird. 130, 128. And a Brittany. I wonder if this information is accurate. Possible past residents. Oh, they got other Coles there too. Maybe that's a dad. Let's see. They all got the same name, so you can't tell who's who. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a business. Matching. what type of business listed here, but let me Google this. I'm gonna Google it. House. Okay.
We start this hour with some breaking news. A law enforcement official is telling News Nation that the FBI has arrested a suspect connected to the pipe bombing investigation in Washington, D.C. That suspect allegedly placed pipe bombs in Washington a day before the January 6 events at the Capitol.
Crazy.
This is the first time investigators have connected someone to this case. These bombs were placed near the offices of the Democratic and Republican national committees. Officials deemed the bombs safe. Nobody was hurt, but the FBI said both devices could have been lethal. Joining us now on the phone, News Nation national security contributor Tracy Walder, former CIA officer and FBI special agent. Tracy, welcome to you. This case and the investigation has vexed law enforcement, and a suspect has remained elusive for about 5 years. Why has this case been so tough to solve and get someone in custody?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Marty. I think there's a couple reasons. First, the FBI actually has done a really good job of leaving essentially no stone unturned. But the problem is that the sheer leads that they had led them to absolutely nowhere, to the point that they even had to deconstruct the pipe bombs, then made a list of stores that they could have been purchased from, subpoenaed all of the records of those stores, and still came up with nothing. They confiscated 20 phones of individuals around the area, led them to nothing. And so I think, unfortunately, this person planned very much to essentially go dark and leave them with absolutely no trail.
They have not released a name, at least not what I've seen so far. The reason for that, and when might they reveal more?
Yeah, I have not seen a name released as well. I think there's a couple reasons. I think first, they want to ensure that this person or persons is processed. Also, there may be other people involved in the investigation that we don't know about, and they are looking at potentially making additional arrests. They wouldn't want to tip anyone off who might know that person, and so that might be why they're holding on the name.
The reward in this case was somewhere around $490,000, almost $500,000. I think actually it might have gone up to that. The significance of a reward of this magnitude in a case like this?
You know, it's interesting because we look at rewards a lot, particularly with, Osama bin Laden and other individuals. Rewards can be helpful in terms of providing tips to obtain an individual, but a lot of times I have rarely seen someone come forward with information leading to an arrest simply because of a reward.
We can see a lot of images of the suspect walking around. It was COVID time, so they were wearing a mask. Have we heard anything from law enforcement as to the timing of these pipe bombs being placed in relation to January 6th? Was it a coincidence, or have they said if it's related?
I haven't heard anything, but I do know that initially they were conducting the investigation to almost see if it was, I guess, a deterrence to get people away, get their attention away, from the Capitol, and thus allowing, individuals to sort of storm the Capitol on January 6th. But they abandoned that theory pretty quickly, I think, when they realized that they were planted at both headquarters. And it's my understanding they were investigating this separately to January 6th.
Behind the scenes, Tracy, how would they be handling this suspect right now in terms of questioning and determining whether or not he acted alone?
I think you just hit the nail on the head. That is going to be the biggest issue, is them finding out whether or not this individual acted alone, and are there additional threats out there that they need to look through and mitigate. I think that is going to be issue number one for the FBI.
How about charges, potential consequences of these actions?
I mean, they're looking at, I think motive will be the big determining factor. Obviously, I'm not an attorney, but I do think motive in terms of why this person did what they did will be the biggest factor in terms of determining whether or not this is a charge of terrorism, whether or not this is a bombing charge. That's what's going to determine that is that motive.
Well, they've got a suspect in custody. We'll wait to learn more. Tracy, thank you so much, as always, for your time.
Thank you, Marnie.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
All right. Brian Cole. Let me see what else we can gather. Pipe bomb suspect. Okay. Home is surrounded. And they're thinking he's some type of anarchist. Maybe that's why he targeted both sides, the DNC and the RNC. Fire going on too? Take a look at this.
Is between the nighttime and
Cut it off already. Yeah, I tried to check out the fire in LA, but when I clicked the link, it looks like they've already moved on. So they had a live segment. They moved on to the weather, of course. Is that a dog? They got a doggy out there. A dog for the search. Sure they're checking out every nook and cranny inside of that property. Out back. Identified. Yeah, they're saying it as well. Let's take a look at this clip.
A pipe bomb from 5 years ago. Fox News alert now. Two sources telling Fox News the FBI has a man in custody. For the latest on that, David Spunt working that story in Washington. What do we have, David?
Well, Bill, we're being told that the suspect's name is Brian Cole, Brancole. We're not sure on an age or a specific residence, but picked up in Northern Virginia, the suburbs of D.C., just a few hours ago this morning, in the custody right now of the FBI. This has been a case that has mystified the Washington, D.C. community, the top levels of the FBI going back to the Christopher Wray administration at the FBI. This happened January 5th, 2021. To refresh everyone that are joining us right now, the day before the attack on the U.S. Capitol, agents say there were 2 bombs placed, one outside the DNC headquarters, one outside the RNC headquarters between 7:30 and 8:30 that night on January 5th. The bombs did not detonate, but they were viable. They could have hurt. They could have killed people. Over the past 4 years, agents visited 1,200 homes and businesses. They conducted more than 1,000 interviews, Bill. They reviewed approximately 39,000 video files and went through more than 600 tips. It's unclear what led them to this suspect, Brian Cole, but we're told authorities will hold a news conference at some point today. We're working for more details there to find out exactly.
So, yeah, the FBI, being said, has raided the home of 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia. Woodbridge, Virginia. And evidence used to arrest this guy apparently has been sitting in the office since 2021, they're saying. I don't know what's up with that. Woodbridge. freeyoubailbonds.com. That's Alabama, though. I don't think that's right. Let's see here. Is this the link then? statewidebonding.com. Let's try that one. As an email. Or is that the dad's thing? The bonding thing? Okay, this one's out of Virginia. Statewide bonding Inc.com. So let me show you the address that I have. Well, first of all, let me see if they have contact us. That information here. ICE facilities. Contact us. They support if you've been arrested by ICE. Oh, look, there we go. Brian Cole bail bonds. Oops. So it's the father owns this business, though, I think, right? Is that what they're saying? Not Junior? Family business? They do immigration, Mr. Bail. Okay. And then the website, let me see. What's the website that I see here? They even have an immigration bail bonds area. Someone said, bail me out, daddy. If a family member or friend has been detained by the Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and you want to get them released, an immigration bond may be required. Consultation. They got offices in a couple of states. Yeah. Sweet 100. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying.
Exactly what led them finally to this person, this suspect, almost 5 years after this incident happened. Bill.
Wow. Okay, more to come, and it's going to be interesting regardless. Thank you, David Spunt, working that all day today. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
Right, they're saying Brian Cole Jr. was the pipe bomber. Brian Cole Sr. is his father. Earl Donnett is his grandfather. Oh, it is pretty normal for bail bonds? Okay, thanks, guy. Some sort of fire in LA. I was looking at the ABC link and it doesn't have the fire. Let me check. Maybe there's something else. Oh, you found a TikTok. Oh, gotcha.
Graba para el cielo. ¿Qué quieres mirar en el cielo tú? Ahí andan las noticias también. East LA, sí. East LA.
Okay, she got the fire in person on the scene. LA fire. What are they gonna find 5 years later? I know, right? I don't know. That man's cleaned up and moving on with his life. 5 years later. Red Charm Properties LLC, previously owned. Oh, the current owner's Red Charm. Oh, I wonder if he was married. Illinois on X says that the Cole family hated Trump. I wonder where she got that from. Cole family hated Trump. There's at least one military connection in the family. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. All right, I guess I'm going to call it for now. And I'll come check on you guys a little bit later. There should be a press conference coming up, so I would like to cover it depending on what time it is, because I'm going to go pick up my daughter from school in a little bit. So, if it's at that time, I'll just do it after. Make sure to subscribe to my iCkEdMeL clips page, please, if that would help me out. I'm posting shorter videos there. Stories when I can. Would help me out on my clips page. For sure they have to. Somebody said 1 p.m. So a press conference. We'll see if that is the case. If it actually does happen, I'll come back on. Suspect. The chopper's leaving anyway. Boom, boom, boom. Another fire? Oh, they got off. Oil lights. Yeah. All right, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will see you later. Be safe. Enjoy the holidays if you can. Spend some time with the family, man. Be careful with the kids because these kids will kill you. And I'm still struggling with the connection. The only reason I'm here now with a stable connection is because I went and got Starlink. I had some people come put the thing on by the roof. And because I got T-Mobile home internet, which I don't know if you saw the post on my Twitter the other day. This shit, I've improved it a little bit, but to get a connection, because I'm in a dead zone and there's a lot of trees around me, there's a canal in my backyard. To get this shit to have a decent connection, oh my gosh, where's the video? Oh, here it is. Let me show you this real quick. I'm in some bizarro world right now, and Comcast, which should be the best connection that I have, is a piece of shit. It's a piece of shit, but I have to like try. Supposedly they did some work in the area yesterday. They're doing some work in the area today, and then tomorrow overnight they're doing work too. So I could only hope that they actually fix and resolve these issues. Excellent, 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 excellent. On the T-Mobile. This is a weather box that I bought for the thing because I can only get this thing to work if I put it out in the backyard on the backyard patio. Home internet. I've encased it with a weatherproof box to protect it from the harsh Florida weather. I've stacked it precisely to the exact height that it needed, not by measurement, but by instinct and trusting Mother Nature. And so I've stacked it on a table, on a Home Depot bucket, T-Mobile box, some little container of adhesive, and a little wedge just to tilt it at the exact triangular angle and degree to squeeze between the canal and the trees and go across the road, because not one place in this entire house, this concrete house, has sustainable. I tried that whole patio. It's the only place. Trees around my house are 110 feet tall. Wow, no cable. My internet dies continually. That sucks. That really sucks. And if I go out there and I water the plants on the patio, the T-Mobile home internet connection drops. Apparently the water causes reflection and that can mess with the signal, makes noise and stuff. So I'm going to have to like do the plant like watering like early morning hours, something like that, to avoid doing it around the time where I'm using the internet. But it's been crazy, man. It's been nuts. But we'll figure it out. All right.